Everyone is talking about the Great Resignation. You might be like the 70% of millennials who are burnt out from working the normal 9 to 5. You feel like you were sold a lie, that if you were high performing enough, you'll somehow find happiness by working for a company that does not value you. What's really happening is you're being trained to never be satisfied. It's making you want to consume more, make more money, get more status. None of it ever being enough until one day you break, mentally or from pure exhaustion. But what if there's a way to escape the rat race? A slower way of living that's simpler, that allows you time to actually enjoy your life instead of race through it. Everything I just described is basically me. I felt so burnt out from living in the city and living in a way that I felt was not for me, but how other people wanted me to live. I wasn't happy, and no matter how much society tells me to make more money, to get more status, I don't think those things will ever bring me happiness. So this led me down this internet rabbit hole of what it means to be self-sufficient. Self-sufficiency is defined as needing no outside help in satisfying one's basic needs, especially in regard to the production of food. I thought maybe I can use my time to grow my own food instead of being stuck in an office for 8+ hours just to earn enough to live, barely, in the city. But there's a huge problem. I've never done it before. I don't want to be the idiot city person romanticizing homesteading just to quit because it turns out it's a lot more difficult than it seems. So I decided to challenge myself for the next 2 weeks to learn how to grow something from seed. The first step was to learn as much as possible, and even then, you're probably going to make a lot of mistakes because, foreshadowing, I did. I watched a bunch of YouTube videos, I read books, and I thought, it doesn't seem that hard. I uploaded all the knowledge into my brain, so now I'm going to start my seeds. It doesn't seem that difficult. You just put it in soil. It's a little bit more complicated than that, but hopefully I don't mess this up. I learned that I needed to start small. As much as I wanted to build my own raised garden bed, start growing enough tomatoes to feed myself for a year and never have to worry about food ever again, that is not realistic for someone who has absolutely no experience growing anything. The first reason being I'm in the middle of trying to find the next place I'm going to live. I can't be growing anything too permanent that takes too long because I might be gone in a month or 2, who knows. It's also not recommended to go from a 0 to 100 right away because it can be really discouraging if you try to plant things and they just die. So after a bunch of research, I decided to grow a small herb garden. It's quick growing, you can grow it indoors in a pretty small space, and I'm going to try to grow it from seed because it's a lot more cost efficient to grow something from seed rather than buying transplants. And for self-sufficiency, you don't want to be relying on nurseries and other people for your plants. Also, it's good to keep costs low because I am cheap. So first stop, I went to my local nursery to pick up my first packets of seeds. They didn't end up having a lot of the seeds I was looking for, so I picked up whatever quick growing plant that I could find. I got baby greens, pea shoots, I got catnip for the cats so they'll stop eating my plants, thyme because how hard could this be to grow, cat grass, basil because I like eating Italian food. I picked up a cheap seed starter kit and some seed starting soil. It took about an hour to get all the seeds planted because I had no idea what I was doing. I was watching a lot of YouTube videos while I was doing it. So apparently I'm supposed to wet these and wait for these little soil pellets to expand and then plant the seeds into them. Okay, so I soaked them in water and they expanded into little pots of soil. What do you think about my science experiment?
It smells funny. It smells like soil.
Yeah. It took a lot longer than I thought it would. I have finished planting the seeds, hopefully. I don't know if I actually did a very good job. The seeds are really small. I'll put this in a sunny spot and I'll wait for something to happen, I guess. The first few days, absolutely nothing happened. Even though the seed packets said the seeds would start sprouting and germinating within 1 to 2 days, at least some of the faster growing seeds, I realized they probably weren't getting enough sunlight because I was growing them indoors without a grow light because I am cheap. So I decided to move the seeds outdoors, which was when they started sprouting. Some of them, not all of them. The success rate wasn't great. Even after 2 whole weeks, a lot of the seeds still hadn't sprouted yet because my seeds weren't getting consistent light and humidity, and when they were getting lots of light, it was way too bright, way too harsh and hot. And that's when disaster struck. One day I woke up and all of my plants died. I don't know what happened, but my plants died practically overnight. They all dampened off, which can happen to seedlings when they're really young and you have no idea what you're doing. It's pretty common, but it was entirely my fault, so it was time to try again. Round 2. I started completely fresh. I watched even more videos on what dampening off even is and what I should do. So I went back to the drawing board. I got a whole new seed starter kit, one that is idiot-proof. Slightly more expensive, but a lot better than the last one. I don't have to worry about watering it or maintaining the temperature or anything. It's idiot-proof. I also bought a grow light so I don't have to worry about the seedlings getting consistent lighting. I wouldn't have to try to do it outdoors when I don't really know how to do that. This time the environment for the seeds were a lot more controlled, meaning I should have better results, and hopefully I do not dampen off the seeds. And it worked. Literally the first day, most of the seeds started germinating and sprouting. Almost all the basil plants at the top are starting to sprout. These are all starting to come out. So a lot more successful than last time. Every single passing day, I saw amazing results. Some days I would wake up and the plants were an inch taller than they were yesterday. It's really fun to see the green and the hard work come from just taking care of these plants, which they did not take very much effort at all. It's just making sure they're watered, making sure they're getting light every day. The only downside I had growing these plants indoors instead of outdoors was I have to protect them from my cats. Somebody ate one of the pea shoots. Somebody also mowed the cat grass I was growing. It was you! What do you have to say for yourself?
Water, feed me water. I don't care, mother.
Biscuit here. He likes to eat my plants. Plants that he should not be eating. What do you have to say for yourself?
Mother, I don't care. I don't care. I'm a rebellious boy, mother.
Don't be fooled.
I'm also really cute, mother.
The cutest cats are the ones that are evil. Look at the little devil horns. It's amazing how just a little bit of work can give you such amazing results. You never see the results of your labor when you're working a normal 9-to-5. I feel like I've gained a whole new skill. I'm really excited to start growing tomatoes and larger plants so that eventually I can replace most of my grocery bill with food from my own garden. It's going to cut down my cost of living drastically so I can have more time not working and just doing whatever it is that I want to do, allowing me to enjoy my life more. This is just one of the things that I'm doing in order to try to remove myself from the stress of hustle culture. I'm trying to find ways to live a slower, more fulfilling life, and you know what? It's working. The self-sustainable alternative lifestyle might not be for everyone. I'm trying it out just to see if it's for me, but it's a give and take. Not everyone is going to want to create a garden in the middle of nowhere and live a self-sustainable lifestyle. That's just not a trade-off that people are willing to do. But what are you willing to do in order to escape the rat race? Would you do van life and travel? Would you work overtime on your passion projects? To learn how to improve your life as you're planning your escape from your traditional 9-to-5, check out these videos next.